session for all of us to understand through a very, very special guest this beautiful subject of significance of churning of Avyakt Murlis, which we are doing every day. But what is the significance of churning of these Avyakt Murlis? And for that, it is my honor and privilege to invite a child of Baba, Brother Bala Kishore. He's the Vice President of Better Living. He's a digital wellness coach. He's a professional certified coach. He's been in Gyan for many years now, a Rajyogi. He is a Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Communication, and MTech in Computer Science and Engineering, and a Certificate of Business Administration holder from Manchester. He has given various motivational talks in a lot of universities and other business industries. And he's actually from the IT industry. And it is so wonderful to listen to people who are from a science background and who have used Raj Yoga as a tool in nurturing their inner voice, their inner divine connection with Baba, and helping the whole world in this journey of theirs. So without any further delay, I would now like to invite Brother Bala Kishore. Welcome, brother. And we are very eager to listen to you.
Om Shanti.
Om
Thank
Shanti.
you. Thank you. Well, to all the Nidraji Tatmae, it's wonderful to meet all of you once again. Is it possible for you to, at least some of you, to switch on your videos so that we can have a face-to-face interaction? So let's start with very good. Very nice. Very nice. So this is not going to be a lecture sort of. So it's going to be more like an interactive session. So let's start with a simple question. How many of triplets in Gyan do you know? Triplet means things like man, vachan, karma. Okay. Sthul vatan, suksham vatan, mool vatan. So that's a triplet. So how many such triplets can you recall? You can type it in chat, you can unmute and speak.
Mansa Vacha Karmana.
Very good. Yes. Yes. Sakari, Akari, Nirakari. Yeah, there are many more.
Pita teacher Sadhguru.
Sorry?
Pita teacher Sadhguru.
Very good. Yes, Bap teacher Sadhguru.
Tan man tan.
Very good. Acha. I like that. Okay. Tan man dhan. Yes. Or
Trikaldasi Trinity. Trinity.
or okay.
Sakari, Akari, Nirakari.
Very good. वो हो गया.
Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar.
भाई सन मून स्टार्स बाबा के मुरली में तो नहीं सुना मैंने अभी तक.
ज्ञान ज्ञान चंद्रमा और ज्ञान लकी एंड लवली ज्ञान सितारे.
अच्छा, very nice. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot that this is English Avyakt Murli class. Okay, good.
Thought, word, action.
Thought, word, and action. Very good. Or
Sato, Rajo, Tamo.
Very good. Sato, Rajo, Tamo. Or Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar. Yes.
Adi, Madhya and Ant.
Adi, Madhya, Ant. Yes. Vichar Sagar Manthan is just one word or one phrase.
मैं बाबा वर्ल्ड
Mai
Drama.
Baba or Dunya, drama. Very good. Good. So there's one more.
Car.
Very nice. We have Dani, Mahadani, Vardani. You can make a note and then reflect on it. Because you're doing Avyakt Murli churning, I won't give you the date, so you can figure out. There's a Murli in which Baba clearly clarifies who is a Dani, who is a Mahadani, and who is a Vardani. So what is Dan? What is Mahadan? What is Vardan? Next, Baba also talks about Janana, Manana, or Chalna. That is to know, to be, and to do. Very powerful sequence. So when we try to translate Baba's Murli into our daily life, whether it is Sakar Murli or Avyakt Murli, these three steps are very, very important. Janana, first is to know. Then Manana, that is to be. And third is Chalna, that is to implement in our day-to-day life. Now, why are these three important? Anyone? Why are these three steps important? Why can't we have only two?
Because everything revolves around these three steps. We cannot be successful if we do not follow these three steps.
Suppose if I say जानना और चलना, क्योंकि चलना से मतलब है ना, तो जानूंगा और चलूंगा, क्या बड़ी बात है?
But I cannot enjoy. The middle step is missing.
Why I can't enjoy?
Unless you don't know, you cannot believe in that. And unless you don't believe in that, you can't imbibe it.
So I will know and I will imbibe. जानना और चलना हो गया ना इसमें. Why do I need to have that intermediate step of believing or having that faith in what Baba is saying? What is the need for that?
To become Bap Saman, you need to become an embodiment of everything. So
Okay.
you have to have all these steps. You have to go follow these steps. Only then you can become an embodiment.
What does becoming an embodiment mean?
Embodiment is something at all times. It's not sometime, but at all times. And totally. Now you are asking me the intermediate step. I may know so many things. I know everything in science. I know everything. But the belief that, yes, this is true, that acceptance by my intellect has to come down. It has to go within my system. So I have manna hi padega. Only when I have both this can I walk. Otherwise, I cannot walk like a child. It know the knowing of walking and understanding, then only that action comes. So I need to put it in my intellect and accept the belief system. So manna is very important.
Good. Om Bhai?
Yeah, I think sister just said that there are three stages: Padho, Samjho, and Karo. So once we study, that means we have heard that, and now the churning starts. Samjho means after churning, I have got that wisdom, that the nectar of it, the sar of that for dharana. So Samjho is deep understanding. And then I become an embodiment. It comes in my practical form, reflects in my practical. Om
Okay.
Shanti.
Good. Pratibha Ben.
Actually, manana is very important. It is the faith And faith makes everything easy. Faith gives us access to come into the practical form. So I believe faith is very important. So middle step is important.
Very
Then
good.
only we can come into the means karna is easy.
Good. Shikha Ben.
So unless and until we have joined it and internalized it, so what Baba expects out of us that everything should be natural nature. So unless and until it has gone into a subconscious, and that only when we are understanding, like we said, we can know and then do it, but then it will be always consciously. It will not be my unconscious act that every time it happens that way. So
Okay.
for that, we have to internalize.
Good. Vijit Bhai.
It's like learn, experience, and experiment, going deeper.
Very nice. Very nice. The very important point about mana is, in addition to becoming an embodiment, in addition to churning, Baba's Gyan needs to be applied in a specific context. You cannot apply every point everywhere. Now, this might be a shock to some of the BKs, but this is very important. Every point cannot be applied to everyone and everywhere. Right? Yeah, yes. Food, unless it is digested, it won't become energy. That's right. So manana means that digesting. So what does that mean? What does that Vichar Sagar Manthan mean? It means I need to understand, is that point applicable to me in the situation that I am going through? If yes, how should I apply it? When should I apply it? Where should I apply it? To what extent should I apply it? Understanding each of these points from these angles, from these perspectives, is what we call as manana. In addition to having this faith that whatever Baba is teaching is true and right. So there are 4 questions Baba gives. Whenever I want to reflect, whenever I want to imbibe, what are those 4 questions? First one is, इस पॉइंट के पीछे राज क्या है? What is the secret behind this point that Baba is trying to communicate to me? Very important, the first point. What is the secret, Raz? Or what is that insight that Baba is trying to communicate to me through this point? Second, किस समय मुझे इस पॉइंट को अप्लाई करनी है? That means, when should I apply this point? You might have heard many times, even in Laukik, for everything there is a time and place. Right? You must be having it in Hindi, in Telugu, in English. For everything there is a time and place. If it is not suitable, if you are not doing it at that time, even the doctor tells you that if you have to take this medicine, then you should take it only at this time, not at this time. So when should I apply this point or this insight? And third, where should I apply? Where and how? कब, कहाँ और कैसे. All these are important. And the last one, how can I use this point to help others? दूसरों की कल्याण के लिए या सेवा के लिए मैं इस पॉइंट को कैसे यूज कर सकता हूं. So every point that we read, if we can ask these 5 questions. Now, if you are interested in which Murli did Baba say this, make a note. 10th January 1988. I know you folks haven't reached there, but you will. 10th January 1988 is the Murli in which that whole Murli is about Manan. Very powerful Murli. So these are the questions when we start reflecting every single point by asking these questions, then we can start deriving that power. Because some points are not applicable for certain situations, and some points are not applicable for certain people. Let's take a simple example that Payal Bain was talking about Amrit Vela. Suppose you are having night duty and you come home only at 1 a.m. Is waking up at 4 a.m. applicable to you also? Yes or no?
No.
Not at all.
Yes.
Not at all.
Yes. So that common sense when using Gyan is very, very important. That is why I call Shiv Baba as ocean of common sense. He is not only ocean of knowledge and ocean of wisdom, he is also ocean of common sense. Many a times we take what he says at face value and get stuck. We try to literally take what Baba is saying without asking these 5 questions. I'll give you another simple example. You are a student. Your primary role is to study. Yes or no? Suppose say you're a school going student or a college going student. And then you listen to this point in Baba's Murli where Baba says, children, whatever you heard until now in this Kali Yuga, forget it. Now, how do I reconcile that point? If Puneet Bhai listens to it, whatever he learned about videographing, whatever he learned about clicking photographs, is he supposed to forget that? What does that forgetting mean? इसके पीछे राज क्या है? What is the meaning? What is the insight that Baba is trying to communicate? Because all Gyan, whatever Baba is teaching us, what is it meant for? What is it meant for? Whatever Baba is.
Life.
Huh. Yeah, go ahead, sister.
Honey, to make our life beautiful.
Beautiful. Very nice. To make our life beautiful. And?
Happy, healthy, wealthy.
Happy, healthy, wealthy, and?
Powerful and successful.
Powerful and successful. Very good. To make our sthiti unshakable. Now, if the point that you are reading and the point that you are listening, when will it be able to give all these benefits?
when we apply, put in practice.
And when you are practicing, each one of us is a world of our own. Yes or no? So I'll give you another simple equation today, which will help you understand what Baba is trying to teach us and how to apply it without getting confused. We listen to Murli, we recite the Murli, we recall the Murli. We also review the Murli. But how do we use Murli to rethink what Baba is saying? Most of the times we don't do that. So this equation will help you, because that when you start applying, when rubber meets the road, that is when the sparks fly. Until then, it is a wonderful point. But how do I apply it? So principle plus context is equal to practice. Very important equation. Principle plus context is equal to practice. I'm typing it here. So when Baba says, what iske piche raaz kya hai? That raaz is that principle. That raaz is that insight. That raaz is what Baba trying to give us so that we can become all these that you just mentioned. If a point is confusing me, if a point is making me weak, if a point's interpretation is making me move away from my Purusharth or making me feel depressed, is that right form of churning? I'm asking you. Is that right form of churning?
No, no.
Because the right form of churning should give me all these others, right? If it is not giving, that means there is some gocha. Either I am not doing correctly, or I am not applying at the right time, or it is not applicable to me at all. That humility is very important. That clarity is very important. Because there are certain points that are not applicable to me. Because when Baba gives Murlis, he is giving to everybody. So when we address a group, we usually address as something generic. We don't talk about special cases. Right? So when I bring in my context, when rubber meets the road, that is when sparks fly. That is where all the confusion happens. So I need to understand the principle, and I also need to understand the context so that I can create my own unique practice without sacrificing the principle. Right? So we discussed this 4 years ago. We talked about 6 filters that we should pass every point through if we want to derive these benefits that you all just shared. Does anyone remember those 6 filters? I know it's been some time. It's been a couple of years. We did this session in December 2020.
Bhaiji, I remember 2 or 3 filters. First is it beneficial for me? Is it
Very good.
beneficial for others? And is it before that, is it the real form? Is it the truth as Yatharth, as Baba wants me to understand? Is it that real? Or I have put my mixed charity into that, my own intellect. That these 3 I remember.
Yes. Others?
Brother, I may
Yes.
not remember the exact filters which you had shared, but
Yes.
what just came to my mind intuitively is that when we are reading the Murli,
Yes.
your own inner being, you know,
Mhm.
there's a feeling, there's an experience that you get.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know that this is true. And
Yes.
sometimes you know that this is not relevant exactly in your context, but it is relevant for everybody else.
Very good.
And some point you also feel is most relevant for you. You know,
Very good.
it's when you're connected, you get these answers from within, and that itself becomes like a filter when you go deeper. In
Correct.
fact, at times, I don't mind saying this on this platform, that at times I say, why is he saying this? And I'm actually almost not accepting it. And I
Correct.
would do my own trance meditation separately and ask a private question and get
Yes.
my own answers. No, this is the real meaning of what I meant. You know,
Yes.
so I've gone through that. So I don't know whether it's a filter, but this is what came to my mind when you were just talking. Om Shanti.
Very good. So I've typed those 6 here.
Okay.
What Baba is sharing is true. It is right. And is it empowering me? Is it enriching me? Is it making me enthusiastic? Is it encouraging me? Encouraging me in my Purusharth, in my Laukik life, in my professional life, anywhere. Because God would not say something that is going to discourage you. Clear? God would not say something that is going to disempower you. God is not going to say something that is going to deplete you. God is not going to say something which will make you depressed. Now, if I agree, or deep inside I accept that, yes, whatever Baba is sharing, his meaning behind it are all these for me, then how should I look at this point so that I can experience these 4? That how becomes your churning. Easy? Then there is no need to get confused. So if I remember these 6 and that equation, it becomes very easy when I start churning Baba's Murli. You know what Harpreet Ben was mentioning? If she puts it into these, see, when Baba talks about, yeah, take this point. When he talks about remaining celibate, when marriage is nothing but you creating yet another set of karmic accounts with another soul. Can we say that? Can we say that?
Yes, brother.
And in these times, when we are supposed to become free and become complete, having more ties, again, I'm talking about generically. I'm not picking up any one specific person, because for that specific person, based on their situation, they may think that, yes, marriage is important for me. But I'm talking in general about all the people in common. So if you are trying to become free, will you do any action that is going to bind you or make you become free? In general, I'm asking. right? So you will try to free yourself. And the next element is, after marriage, if you decide to bring another soul into this earth, now that's a huge responsibility. So a lot of your energy, which is supposed to go into your spiritual progress, now you have to give that for another soul, because that is your responsibility. You brought that soul onto this earth, or you became an instrument to bring that soul onto this earth or give that birth. So now again, that energy which you are supposed to use for your spiritual progress, that is getting used for the other purpose. I'm not saying it is wrong. We are not talking about right or wrong. It's very important then we are listening to Baba's Murli and trying to interpret that we remove these binaries. Right, wrong, yes, no. What is a no for me could be a yes to you. Or what is a yes to you may be no for me. So there are always those, based on my context, it's important to see how I can translate these principles. So these are the principles: becoming spiritually free. Now I need to add my context to come up with my practice. So when he is in general talking about all the souls, he gives that generic principle. Children, do not get into extra bondages. See if you can remain free. Now, is that bad? Is that wrong? So when you are writing your exams, what does your teacher or your parents tell you? Focus. No need to meet friends. No need to play games. Just focus. No need to watch movies. Now that does not mean that you are going to do that forever. In that context, in general, these are some of the principles that are given to you. Okay. Now, for those who are already married, what Harpreet Ben has written in the comment is applicable. So he does not want to alienate those who come to him already married. Fantastic. That's where he says, this is Lakshmi Narayan. Bring that divinity in whatever you're doing. So now you see every point that Baba is giving, when I put that through those 6 filters: true, right, empower, encourage, enthusiastic. What happens? Suddenly you start getting and encourage. Suddenly you start getting new insights that can be applicable to your context without throwing baby with the bathwater. There's a lot of bathwater out there. Does everyone understand what is the origin of that idiom? In 17th century England, when they just started taking bath, okay, just so that you folks know, there was no such thing as they taking bath before that. That concept was not there in general in that society or culture. They would have a very big tub. They would fill that with water, and in the sequence of the age, the eldest would take bath first and the youngest would take bath last. So after the youngest took bath in that same tub, they would throw all the bath water. Sometimes baby would be there because baby is the youngest, so baby would bathe last. So they would throw the baby also with the bath water sometimes by mistake. So what it means is there is essence in there which you need to absorb. And all the other unnecessary expansion, you should need to remove it. But sometimes what we do, we throw the baby with the bathwater. So when we are trying to listen to Baba's Murli, when we say, instead of asking what aspect is applicable, we simply brush it aside and say, this is nonsense. No, it is not nonsense. There is definitely a baby in that. So how do I extract that aspect of Baba's point that is applicable to me by applying these filters and asking these questions. That is, in essence, Vichar Sagar Manthan. Because otherwise, we keep getting confused. What am I doing? Is this Vichar Sagar Manthan or not? What I am doing, is this just Manan or this is also Chintan? Manan is just repeat. Chintan is to churn, to reflect. That's why he says, Manan, Chintan, Magan. So if I want to become an embodiment, I need to reflect, I need to churn. So what does that churning mean? Asking these questions. How do I know if I am moving in the right path? If you're able to experience these four. The 4 E's of churning. Now you take up any point. It will become very easy for you to derive the benefit from it, because automatically these questions will help you take right attitude towards that particular Baba's point. Yeah, there is true, there is right, and then the 4 E's. Yeah, you can add more E's, no problem. There's absolutely no issue. Now, does it make sense? Does it simplify the whole process now? Yes. Now, do you have any questions? Yes, Ombai. You have any question?
No, I said it has now simplified the process.
Yes.
Now I need the clarity, and the last P could be the embodiment.
Yes, because when you go through these, then becoming an embodiment becomes easy, because the result of these 4 E's, you will start enjoying Gyan, another E. Because without enjoyment, there is no embodiment. You can write down. Very important. We don't move ahead in Gyan when we stop enjoying Gyan. खुशी नहीं है तो नशा भी नहीं है. So when I understand these 4 E's and I start looking at Gyan from these 4 E's, I will start enjoying. I'll start getting those aha moments. And then becoming an embodiment becomes easy. Right? Another E. What Baba talks about, easy Purusharth. Exactly. You must, that context itself means personalize. Context itself means individualize. What Baba is telling me, not us. What is he telling me? That individual and intimate connection with Baba is what will empower us. That is why comparison has no meaning in Purusharth or in Gyan, that because each one of us is unique. My situations are unique. My capability to understand Gyan is unique. Yes, absolutely. It will be different from everyone, because I am different from everyone. I am unique. Now, this is what Baba means when he says, Nambarwar Purusharthanusar. I've heard many BKs say this, even senior BKs. Balabai, in Bhakti also there is a queue. In Bhakti also there are numbers. Even after coming into Gyan, the same old stupid numbers. Are we not equal in front of God? It's not from that perspective. From his angle, all of us are equal. His love for all of us is equal. When he says number wise, what he means, if you pass that point through these 4 E's, the answer that you will get is, he is saying number war means, child, each one of you is unique. Nobody can take your position. Nobody can take your position, nor can you take someone else's position. So stop trying to imitate or be like someone else. You be yourself because you're unique. That is the meaning of number wise. Yeah, number war. So now when you listen to that word, will it disempower you or will it empower you? Will it depress you or encourage you?
It will empower.
Right? So each time I listen to number war Purusharth Anusar, I get really excited because he is reaffirming my uniqueness in every single Murli. I'll give you another simple analogy that I created many, many years ago in order to understand this particular aspect. Okay. The analogy is, you are standing on a beach. There's ocean in front of you. Okay. Now you have a big drum on the beach. Your job is to get water from the ocean and fill your drum. Is the analogy clear? Now like that, every single person is having their own drum and they are having a clear path to the ocean. Nobody is obstructing anyone else. Now what you need to do is, you go to the ocean, get the water, fill your drum. And this drum is a wonderful drum. The more you fill, the more its capacity increases. Now it is up to you whether you want to go to the ocean with one hand, with one finger, with a mug, with a bucket, with 2 hands, with a cloth. How you are going to get that water and fill your drum is up to you. Because each drum is unique and your path to ocean is clear. Nobody can obstruct it. And each one of them on the beach is doing the same thing. Now, what is the use of me saying that fellow is running fast and his bucket is larger, I am only taking a mug or a spoon? Okay, you also take a bucket. Who's stopping you? Because each one of us is unique and our relationship, our path to that ocean is very clear. There's nobody who's obstructing me. So if I keep looking here and there, if I keep comparing myself with others, I will waste my time. Because the ocean is open. Ocean is not stopping anyone. Ocean is not partial. Ocean is saying, come on, bring it on. How much can you fill? You know, it's like nature telling a photographer. Nature never tells a photographer, there is only one beautiful photograph here. Does it say that? Nature simply says, it asks, how many reels do you have? Or how many rolls do you have? To use Puneet Bhai's example. Yes or no? That is what Baba says. How much can you fill? There's a very beautiful documentary. It's called Celebrate What's Right with the World. I'm sharing the URL because it's, I think, not there in YouTube. You can watch this particular documentary. It's a fascinating one. Then you will understand what Baba is talking about and what Baba is giving us. Good. So now, do you have any questions? Okay. So that's the link that you can use.
Om Shanti, brother. Am I audible?
Yes, Pilman.
If we can go back to that example about the Amrit Vela which you shared.
Yes.
So, in the case of a person who is on night duty, right? For that person, it would be a different situation.
Correct.
Now, if there is a situation wherein for whatever reason, any soul, not regularly, maybe once in a while, is not able to wake up at the
Yes.
intended time.
Yes.
So in that situation, how do I know that what I'm, taking in from Baba is not, I'm not customizing Gyan for my own convenience?
Good point. Is it because of your binge watching of web series? Or is it because of genuinely you had to spend more time in office that, or you had relatives whom you had to engage, or you had to travel for which you are not able to get up at Amrit Vela? You will understand that. It's very easy. Becoming a Baba's child, whether you are doing it out of laziness or out of taking the need for taking care of your body, you will understand it very easily. Yes or no?
Yes.
That is where Baba talks about Albelapan. That is not allowed. Here the assumption is you are a Jnani. That means you are not lazy.
Om Shanti, brother.
Yes, Girijaban.
When you were speaking about this jhana, mana,
Yes.
there is always a gap between mana and chalna.
Yes.
Take any simple concept. They all say husbands are your deities. I know I have this knowledge. My grandmother has told me, my mother has told me, everyone has told me. Pati jo hota hai, pati dev hota hai. And they show me history. Rama, Sita, everyone, whether Shiva, Parvati and all. The kind of subservience and all. But it's a loving subservience because they get protection from that so-called pati. And then I understand it also when a person gets married. But are these people ready to put into practice? Why this concept, which was Jnana, which was Malna, why it's not mass followed? Because the reason I find this knowledge, whatever this Pati Dev and all, it has been handed down to me. It was not taken by my intellect directly. As I Shastra say, Paron say, it came down to that. So it just sat in my intellect, birth after birth, and it became engrossed and all. But for me, Murli is not like that. Om Dera, if I have the faith, who is this man? Who is this person? So it goes back to two things. Faith मैं कौन हूँ, faith वो कौन है. I think if these two things are kept in mind, chalna becomes easy. Now, when you were talking about Amrit Vela, I remember Mohini Ben, Dadi Prakash Mani's Mohini Ben. She had once said, when they came back at a trip, they returned only at 1 o'clock. And for her, Amrit Vela, she said it was a absolute thing. She said she got up at 4 o'clock because she knew that man will be waiting her, Baba will be waiting at the door knocking, Mohini, get up. So she got up. She just said, hello, Baba, good morning. See, I want to talk to you, but see what happens. See my eyes and all, I can't talk to you like that. So good morning, Baba. And she gave him a hug and she slept off. That thing, just that moment, oh, hey. And my bodily thing, and also that is how I use it in context. So I won't say not to get up, not to do. I will try to do something because he is waiting, whether you have gone for a picture, whether you have seen any web series, his time is my children are waiting. And he'll walk down your corridor. So at least for that, let me just get up and say hello. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
very important,
Amrit Vela.
Girijaban. What you do is your context. There are others, in general, if you disturb the sleep, they won't be able to go back to sleep again. because they would need uninterrupted sleep. And I am one of those. So there are various types of people. That's where again I said, each is his own world or her own world. That context is important. There is no one specific aspect, because if I suppose say, if my sleep cycles are rigid, and if I keep thinking Baba is going to wait for me and I disturb myself, now will I spoil my next 1 or 2 days to catch up my sleep? Or will I tell Baba even before I sleep and then go to sleep without feeling guilty? Because this aspect, even though there is a lot of bhavana and love, which is important, it subtly creates guilt. And guilt will not allow you to move ahead in Gyan. Because guilt is what creates confusion, or it is confusion that creates guilt. When you have clarity, there is no guilt. Then before you sleep at 1 a.m., if I get late, that's what I tell Baba. I won't be able to wake up, switch off my alarm and sleep. Because then there is no guilt now. But otherwise, if I keep with this thought that Baba will wait for me, then I'll subtle guilt gets into it. And if I am feeling guilty, if I am feeling unhappy, then that is not what Baba is telling me for that, right? If you go through those 4 E's again.
Om Shanti, brother, can I just add something? Which,
1 second, Rachna Ben raised her hand.
Sure.
And then I'll get back to you. Rachna Ben, are you there?
Om Shanti, brother. Good morning.
Morning.
My question is regarding understanding of what is the significance behind when Baba says 4 hours sitting yoga in a day. Because these days, morning Amrit Velas, a lot of online Amrit Velas are going on, and the timings are between 2 a.m. to 5 a.m.
So
I somehow
you
am not able
translate
to.
it, Rachna Ben, because in Sakar Murli's Baba also talks about 8 hours sleep, 8 hours work, and 8 hours seva.
Yes,
So quite often I joke saying, at that time, Baba would not have worked in Pune or Bangalore or Hyderabad. He would not have spent 2 hours or 3 hours extra in the traffic. Because in those 1960s, Baba was giving that Murli. In that context, it was all government employees. And usually you walked to the office. You did not spend hours together. If Baba talked about it, people would not have been able to relate to it also. So it's very important for us also to understand in what context Baba gave that Murli and how do I translate it to my context. Yes, Harpreet Ben. So what is it that you can give based on your situation and be able to do that as an embodiment? That's where I was suggesting this 4771 Murli. Very interesting Murli where Baba talks about what is Yad mean? What does Yoga mean? Use that as your guidance, reflect on it, do that Vichar Sagar Manthan, then most of this confusion or this guilt will move away. Yes, Harpreet Ben.
I was just adding actually at that time to that very nice churning on the Amrit Vela time. So like our jobs could be such, like you have already indicated, which could be night times. And, like I'm like from the aviation industry, we are on flights, we are like at odd hours, we are 24/7 on call during other times. But for me, the word Amrit Vela, when you really churn on it, if there is constant remembrance, every Vela is Amrit. Every Vela becomes pure, it becomes divine. And the day that clarity I got in my intuitive connection with Baba, actually all those worries about not waking up just vanished. Like there's no guilt, there's nothing. Because if you're really on this journey of constant Amrit Vela, this 4 o'clock timing loses its significance in my context. I'm not saying I just thought I'll share that. Yeah.
In general, when we see, when you are talking to a larger group, when you want to encourage them to do spiritual purusharth or progress, you need to have certain guardrails. You need to have certain disciplines. You cannot leave it just like that. So that is where Baba also gives that, as we started off this saying, that every activity has some specific time. So that is where Baba gives that, yes, these are the times during which you do this. There's also one more very interesting Murli where Baba says, during Murli time, you are supposed to listen to me. You are not supposed to practice bodiless stage. When I'm giving you Murli, when I'm giving you knowledge, if you say I'm doing yoga and I'm practicing bodiless stage, is that the right thing? Baba himself was asking. Doesn't make any sense. So when in general, when Baba is talking to all of us, he says, in general, make sure. And this 4 o'clock thing will also help many of us to correct our daily routine. If your body needs 6 hours of sleep, then work backwards so that you sleep by 10. If you have to sleep by 10, what else should I do at 5 p.m.? What else should I do at 2 p.m.? What else should I do at 10 a.m.? Most of it falls into place. Yeah, if there are exceptions, that is different. But in general, your daily routine can get adjusted accordingly. Okay. Oh, it's 6 a.m. now. That's the time I was given. So I hope you enjoyed. I personally enjoyed having this conversation. So hope it was useful.
Very useful, brother. And we are really grateful to you to give us all these triggers, especially those 6 filters and those beautiful 4 questions to get the reference to context. Very, very privileged to hear you speak. And thank you to Baba so that we could listen to you. And we can now go ahead with the short meditation, I think, as the daily practice.
One sister, Balwinder Ben, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I got so much clarity from you. Yes, I was confused with few points. For example, I was thinking to go to Peace Village, but there are some centers in my neighborhood. They do have admission criteria, checklist. Do you wake up this time? Do you eat this? Do you practice this? So when you say, if you want to be honest 100%, yes, I don't or I do, then you won't be accepted in that community or attending that event. That's my concern.
That's fine. So see, the idea again is for the general public to be able to understand and accept and be able to do it. That is why they give you those criteria, so that whoever satisfies those, they will enjoy those programs a lot more. That's it. There's nothing else. That it is not a criteria for exclusion. You should consider that criteria for inclusion.
I understand with you, Baiji, but some of them, they're not applicable to my
Correct.
specific
Then you can have a
situation.
conversation with them. Then you can always have a conversation with the instruments and then say, these are not applicable for my situation. Can I still come? And they'll be more than happy to accommodate you. Because that is a generic slip that is given to others.
Thank you, Ji.
Yes.
Bala Kishore Bhai, I have heard your meditation on this moving, walking down. I have heard it and I've enjoyed it with you in your sessions. It would be really nice if you could share it with us, how you really show and how do I take the part of the Lord as I'm walking about, moving about. So that's 24/7 remembrance.
Yeah, I don't remember Baba 24/7. Because there are other things that I have to focus on.
No,
like
what I mean is, I remember walking on the road, how you
yeah, so the way
the race, bring it on you,
correct,
you know, that kind
correct.
of meditation.
Yes, so I have given you, correct. So if you search these Aao Bache meditations on YouTube, they are, those visualizations are actually designed, and for all of you, thanks for reminding Girijaben, you can also experience Baba in the way I experience what Girijaben is talking about is, for example, when I sit in train, when I sit in my car, when I sit in the flight, I invite Shiv Baba. I ask him to stand on top of the vehicle in which I am sitting, and I ask him to spread his rays so that that vehicle, that aircraft, that train is safe, and I am sitting inside. I hope you're able to visualize. And then I begin the journey. Well, it's very simple visualization, but it helps you to have Baba with you. If I'm driving a bike or riding a bike or driving a scooter, I'll ask him, come sit behind me. So then I'll invite Sakhar Baba. So he'll come and then he'll sit behind me, and then we'll say, okay, now let's move. It's a very simple way in which you can start integrating Baba into whatever you're doing. Like in office, if you are sitting, you can always have a chair, an empty chair, and then say, Baba, you sit here. Now let me finish this meeting, or let me finish this document. So simple ways in which we can integrate this thought that Baba is with me. You can still be focused in whatever you're doing, but once you're done with it, you can come back and then say, okay, Baba, now I've finished this. So this is how we integrate. Easy? Good. So let's invoke Baba now, and then experience him as ocean of knowledge. Okay, very nice. Wow. My sister also remembers the dates in 2008. Fantastic. Okay, so we invoke Baba as the ocean of knowledge, and he is showering all that knowledge, wisdom, power on me, and then I feel safe, empowered, energetic, enthusiastic, and I'm enjoying my journey with Baba. Is that okay? Let's practice that. You. Shanti. All the best. Namaste.
Om Shanti, brother. Thank you very much. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening to this beautiful discussion. Om Shanti.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for that.